Morning, everybody. It's Romero17, and a lot of people on Twitter had been asking me, "Hey, how do you deal with players that hang back and wait by the black line, or players that kind of wait for you to get into their range for them to strike, and or just simply circling and just waiting for you to enter the pocket?" Basically, you get the gist of what I'm saying here. Like the players that don't really like to engage or wait for a specific thing. Now, there's a reason why this playstyle is effective, and it's effective because at some point in the game, the stun threshold was really high. And before tuner dropped in April, you can simply just wait for somebody to come in, and you'll be able to fire off a rip combination. So somebody enters the pocket with a jab straight, you can just fire off jab, uppercut, hook, hook, and you're almost guaranteed to rock every single time. This worked both ways because you could pressure somebody, and if they try to fire back, trying to get you away from the pressure, you try to fire back, maybe try to throw a combination, they'll rip off a combination like the jab, uppercut, hook themselves from an offensive point of view, and it can always rock you and drop you too. So both play styles were kind of like benefiting from this. The main players that benefited from this are the players that are just simply waiting, and they'll usually have a higher rated fighter. You're not going to see this playstyle work really well with a lower rated fighter, like a C fighter or a B fighter that has really low footwork. This is usually going to work only with A plus fighters. And you can even Rockley had a Retro Rocky had a hard time with a guy. This actually is the same guy, Psychedelics. Retro Rocky lost to this dude when he had like a B fighter, and he was just stuck trying to chase him because he was just waiting for him to come in. Now, I am going to listen to the description of a fight I had against somebody else, and I'm going to show how grappling opens up because of the shot selection they use. Now, what I mean by shot selection, there's a specific set of strikes that these players use, and it's very anti-grappling because it's kind of hard to open up. Obviously, you can clinch somebody, but eventually they start denying, so it's up to your discretion. And in my case, I'm not really clinching with Sergio Pettis, so it ain't gonna happen. So, it's going to be the straight lead hook. The straight lead hook is going to be my best friend in this fight because not only can I chain that into a slipping combination where I can slip a strike, anytime he does try to like come forward against me, like he's waiting for me to go in, or he's closing the distance with a forward moving strike. Every time I enter that little circle, you see he's going back to that black line, and he's going to fire off another strike trying to catch me. No matter what strike it is, if it's a forward moving strike, the strike will always interrupt. Unless you're extremely freaking gassed. I've seen it every single time. The straight is almost always going to interrupt, even if it's in the improper range, if the guy is throwing a forward moving strike. So add that to your arsenal. Like if you see the guy, he's stepping forward with his strike, you need to lead with a straight first. Lead with a straight first. Another thing that I'm keeping a note on is the combination that he's using, and it's against the wombo combos, the uppercut hook. And it almost seems like, man, every single time I'm going in there, like he has an answer for me, but not really the case. You have to take into consideration that this is also drawing from his stamina pool. And if I'm Sergio Pettis, or if I'm anybody, there's three things I gotta look at here. Well, obviously I'm not gonna beat DJ standing in front of him, hand to hand. And plus, with the way this is working out for me, I keep getting hit, my head off is gonna get low, and then I'm not going to be able to exchange with him, period. And it's a losing battle. I'm not going to be able to take him down. So, another tip. If the first tip was using the straight and the lead hook to catch him once he's trying to, like, lunge against you, trying to get in your face and interrupt you against a forward moving strike. The second tip I'm going to say is that you need to attack the body when the short-term stamina is low. In my stamina tips video, I mentioned body strikes. Yes, they're very efficient. People invest in the body a lot, especially on ranked, especially in competitive gameplay in this game. But it's quality over quantity. You can land as many little baby body strikes as you want. The one that's really going to do damage is the body strike that lands when that character is breathing heavy, when that character's short-term stamina is recovering. He's trying to see right there. For example, in that time that my yellow bar is recovering, if he were to throw a body kick in that time, I would take a lot more damage than if he were to throw it naked. If he throws it in the pot, if he throws it in punching range, I'm barely going to take any damage from it. But in that time, where my stamina is recovering, that is the ideal time to throw a body shot. So if you want to gas the guy out and have it pay off in the later rounds, your other best option will be to try to work the body. I think I was headhunting a little bit too much here. And again, I haven't found anybody that's been able to kind of hang back against me now because either grapple them, and I already know how to handle this, but sneaking in the shots to the body after that 1-2, 1-2, waiting for you to come in is the best bet because you're going to gradually wear away at them. Very gradual. Trusting your block. Now, the third tip right here. Coming to the with regards to shot selection. Keep in mind when you're going forward with your block. I don't think a lot of players know this. When somebody's walking forward with the block, and you throw a straight strike, and they're leading with the jab. I mean, if they're like just coming forward with the block, and you throw a jab, does a lot more damage. It kills the block. My block was a lot higher in round 1 in comparison to now. And this is, if you throw a retreating jab as he tried to do there, it's going to kill my block. So when he starts firing off those 3-4 piece combinations, waiting for me to either fire it back, see that? It's going to just gradually get it lower. And I won't be able to exchange at all. I won't even be able to block counter because I'm going to get block stunned. The fourth tip I'm going to say, obviously if you're not going to grapple and you want to keep the fight on the feet, any opportunity you have to catch a kick. I don't know if you guys saw this, but earlier, moments ago, I caught a kick of his and I tripped him and I threw him against the cage. I said, suck this, and I just threw him against the cage. What that did was, it just kills his body stamina. Kills his stamina and does body damage. And especially after they throw and kick, their short-term stamina is low, that's a good amount of damage. Now here, I timed the straight lead hook off a slip because he's having a predictable pattern. But if you notice, look at my head health. My head health is getting lower. I haven't taken any crazy drastic shots yet, but my head health is getting gradually lower. And this is happening because his game plan works on me going in. It's playing it on my vulnerability because I'm the one trying to initiate, and he's just simply waiting for me.
My energy, even though I clearly won that round, but okay.
Okay, I interrupted myself there. Cool, but it's playing on my vulnerability. Another thing that a lot of players don't know, this is going to be another tip. When your head health is recovering, you could take, obviously when your head health is full, you can take more damage. And when your head health is low, you continue to take damage, you're going to get dropped. When a lot of players don't realize that, they'll get hurt right there, right? You see the damage is loading up. The damage is loading up on my end. Go jab straight, jab hook. There my head health is flashing. I try to use head movement there.
God, what the
I try to minor backswing, but the lead hook hit me because Sergio Pettis' head movement isn't good. What went wrong for me there? Well, after the first exchange of strikes, I tried to fire back too soon. I got dropped, and that's a mistake that a lot of players do. And he goes back into retreating, back into defense, and now I'm trying to play the catch-up game because I'm trying to take the round back. Because I knew I dropped the first round, I knew I got the second one, and in the 5-round fight, these rounds are relatively crucial. So if I can get a really hard stun, I can win the round back. Hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that because, again, it plays into his hands. But considering the character matchup, I was kind of forced to, and I still had to be relatively cognizant of this specific game plan. No, he's ducking. Because he's ducking, I'm going to add a uppercut to my strikes. So if it's a straight lead hook, I'm going to either fire off the uppercut. But if I feel that he's going to pull, I'm going to rip off the straight as well. DJ's a little bit shorter than me, but not by much. And here's the trip again. Threw him down. And I'm trying to recognize this pattern. See, he's jab straight. And he's trying to block low to the body. Before he was blocking all those shots to the head, but now he's really concerned with blocking his body. And there I fired off another straight lead hook to the head. And I'm just keeping a mental note. There I shouldn't have pressed forward there. My head was flashing. But even just playing off of where they're blocking, what's their first concern as the player is blocking?
Of course.
Gives me a tell on what they're the most concerned about. So the fact that he's letting a lot more shots go to his head instead of his body means that my side kicks, which I'm using as a weapon,
No.
whenever he's lunging in with strikes, so I can catch him when his short-term stamina is low. Or if I'm just sneaking in a little lead body hook there, it's going to do wonders. And there he tried to sidestep me. But it takes a lot of patience. It really does. It takes a lot of patience. A lot of people, they play a game, myself included. Sometimes I don't want to have a technical war. Sometimes I just want to get in and out. Maybe I just had a crazy tough fight. I just want to get one more fight in and go to bed. But then here I am. I have to go fight this dude. But it takes a lot of pay. If you really want to get the win, in a 3-rounder, if you can secure the round with grappling, just do it. You don't even have to force a finish. You can just stall. But in a 5-round fight where any mistake is crucial, and any time that you're at being a little bit predictable can be capitalized on. And there I caught him with a straight knee hook, and based on the wobble, I knew that it was a relatively hard stun. He did drop me, but it was a stage 1 stun. It was a stage 1 knockdown, excuse me. And with the stun that I got, he was relatively rocked. Like, he was rocked hard based on that wobble. I wasn't going to be able to fire anything off, though. And his stamina is a little bit lower than mine because forward moving strikes take a lot more stamina. So also keep that in mind. That same rhythm. Watch your opponent's rhythm. Every fighter, most players have a rhythm that they follow with the strikes. There's a specific cadence that they throw their strikes. The best players are the ones that can alternate between that rhythm. But what gets players caught is that they get really caught up with this cadence and they become relatively predictable. It's got to alternate, switch things up. And if there's another tip I can throw in there, is that don't try to fish for shots, because I was definitely fishing for that slip straight. And the more you try to force a shot that isn't there yet, the less likely it is to land. And there's a good adjustment on his part to start firing off the lead leg kick to kind of distract me from the punches that he's usually throwing.
Fuck off, bitch.
But I have to stay consistent. I have to stay disciplined. There I fired off the slip straight. And that was a hard body kick. That specific sound right there, that's another little sound cue. When I played with no HUD, and I made to like the top 10, I think in like season 9 or season 10. That specific sound will tell me that's a hard shot to the body. That means he ate that one, and that means his body health was either flashing or that was just an extremely massive shot. So that's in the back of my mind heading into round 5. It's the same cadence. He'll press forward for about 30, 45 seconds. It's not always going to be behind his line. But right there's the flash again. Look, he's only dropped me once. But my head health is extremely low. This is low. This is danger zone. My block is extremely low.
Why is that fucking trapping me there?
And definitely for like future reference, I'm definitely going to grapple him a lot earlier. Fire off a little Muay Thai combo there. I'm using the retreat. And for those of you who want to know how to do that retreat, you just have to press R2 and R1 and just back away. It's really good to get your opponent to whiff, but please keep in mind that when you're using a retreat, you can catch the body kick. If somebody throws a body kick and you're retreating, hold L2, let go R1, hold L2, so at the very least you can block it. Because if you eat a body shot while you're doing that retreat, it does so much damage because it's taken away from your long-term and your short-term stamina. Speaking of short-term stamina, I land that good side kick there as he's going to the body, and I hit him 2 illegal uppercuts because fuck you.
Okay.
And if you notice, I'm gonna. This
fight
was after one of my Ricky J tournament fights, and I was a little bit salty.
Fucking game after it told me that.
Enjoy this. I was a little bit salty off
That game told me that against Mo West, and I lost a split decision. Fuck this game.
Fuck this game indeed. Yeah, I was pretty salty because the game has told me multiple times before that I'll be ahead in the fight due to my striking advantage, and I'd end up losing a decision. So now I got rocked there. Notice that my head off is low. But he doesn't know anything else. He's firing off the same combination and I managed to recover. But he just took that one mistake. I swayed into a hook. And now he can move forward because after 4 rounds actually, of just waiting for me to come in, killing my block with the straight strike, waiting, slowly chipping away at my head health, getting that one drop when I fired off too soon.
Oh God.
Now he can feel a little bit more comfortable moving forward. He got the rock. He has the better fighter. But this time, I'm going to flip the script, and I'm going to grapple this time. You will see this playstyle be done a lot with guys with, like I said earlier in the video, I said it's always a high-rated fighters, but this is extremely successful with guys like Souza and like say Brian Ortega, because you don't want to take the guy down because they have like this crazy good jiu-jitsu. But even though this guy has Demetrius Johnson, I was remembered on my way. This guy's not that good of a grappler. I can take this guy down. If you have personal history with the guy that you're fighting, in sense of you fought them a lot on rank, you're gonna be familiar with their weaknesses. And remember, my way, this guy's a crazy good grappler. He wants to avoid grappling with me. If he wanted to grapple with me, he would have taken me down off of those first 2 kicks that he caught earlier in this fight. And that's another thing. Another tip. Keep mental notes of what your opponent is doing. If he wants to grapple, he'll grapple you. If he's avoiding the grappling by all costs, he's not even throwing it in there to kind of mix things up, take advantage of that. Don't wait till round 5 like I did. He denies the arm triangle, but he goes for that full guard transition. I deny it. But it's been a matter of time. This entire fight has been a game of patience. I don't know how I didn't deny that. And it just takes a lot of patience. There's about a minute left, and he's gassed. With Demetrius Johnson, who has higher altitude, he is gassed. And then right there, what I talked about with catching players with their short-term stamina is low. The work has paid off. I had to stay consistent with my game plan. And now he's backing up. Trying to fire off knees now, but it's too late. The damage is done, and this fight is mine. There's Romero 17. These are tips to beat the player that is content with hanging back and not engaging. I'm going to start streaming a lot more now. If you have another idea for a video, please drop it in the comment section. I'll appreciate if you drop a like on the video as well. Anything else, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to throw that in the description as well. This is Romero 17. I'm out of here.